Don't mean a thing if you ain't got that swing. Don't mean a thing if you ain't got that swing. Don't mean a thing.
And my question is, what in fact were we doing to make that experience happen?
You made us aware of the energy of the inside. I think we are not aware of that at all. We are trained to do things, to deliver. We are trained when we are kids by the education, by the school. Then we are trained. We are trained and formatted somewhere by the job we do, by the life we have. And then you follow a format, in your daily life, in your social life, in your with your beloved one, in the work. You follow rules. So somewhere we are all the time formatted. Your kid, you need to behave when you are at the table with the adults. When you are at work, you have rules, you comply with the rules. When you are on the road, you follow the 70 kilometers per hour, speed limit. So, and then you don't realize that globally you are in a kind of box with a right border, left border, a ceiling. Okay. And then what we discovered is inside there is an energy, there is a strong energy that is just not used. And if you use this energy, and if you make people aware that this energy exists, then maybe in some situation you can use it, to create what I call the chain effect, the group effect, the power of the group, the power in sense of not getting the power, but something strong, something solid, something based on a human inside. I focus a lot on the human side because I think we miss a lot this point in our daily life. And then we discovered that, all of us. I had a lot of discussion with people after this first session, and we were all turning around the same spots, saying, wow, we discovered the magic of the energy that we have inside, that we neglect too much.
If you ain't got that swing, don't mean a thing if you ain't got that.
Biggest thing I will keep from this event is the last day when we experience the power of a group without knowing that with people that you don't know before, you may have a collective effect without wanting to have this collective, without willing really to have it. You just discover that you did it just by this power of having a group together with a kind of same mindset, because that was part of the game you did also. You prepared quietly, slowly but surely, our mindset to let the things get out and to be what we are. Let's be yourself, let's express yourself. When you do that, the result you can expect is to do something that is you only. And what we discovered is we did something that was the group and not you anymore. And I was very impressed by that. First meeting I had after the training, where I experienced this. I'm gonna try. I will see what will happen. And the people, the first thing is you have 5 minutes of silence. You see, I will bring a new. They are used to have you speaking and telling what to do, and they are used to answer to question, to do proposal in the technical mode. And then you say something different, and you say, "Oh, I missed the point," because nobody will raise the hand. And suddenly you had a guy or a lady in the middle of the room. May I? May I? They start to get out of the slave mode, and to enter in the participative mode. And then they probably, it's stupid because, okay, it's a good product, but a square, it's really bad in the pocket. I would prefer something that is more oval, or say, why oval? But because it's less rude, it's more smooth. Say, oh, why not? And then, by the way, and then you start, there is a chain effect also. You need one guy to start. Okay, That happened. I was the first surprise. But my first surprise was 5 minutes without anything. And the thing I had to fight against was, you know, for me already 30 seconds without nothing, it's too much. And you say, no, shut up. Let them don't shut up. It was a fight against myself. And then I tell you, 5 minutes of fighting against yourself when you are a kind of bossy person, thank you, Ralph, it's a nightmare. But probably you have to face the nightmare to make good dreams. And look at me, I'm happy.
What happened over a day? So what did you do? What did you experience with it? So
me, I experienced what we call in French le lâcher prise. Let's get it out. You get out of every burden, problem, thinking. You just in, and you follow the way. Okay, you need to be cooperative. You need to enter in a kind of cooperative mindset. And I have to admit that at the beginning I was a bit not reluctant but doubtful. I said, oh, those guys, what they will do, okay, let's see. A bit of skeptic, you know, but okay. But then quite rapidly, you come to the point that you say, oh, I'm not anymore skeptic. I mean, I follow the way, I follow the path, and I'm fine. I'm really fine. So this is really that, you know, the mark of the day, you know, the print of the day for me was that one. To be able to lâcher prise. And you succeeded very well, very well. Without obliging us to do anything. I was not fighting against something. I just entered. The perception, you know, generally when I work with a group, and I do a lot of that in my work, I have the perception of who I am, I have the perception of my colleagues, I have the perception of the goal that I have to reach or that the team has to reach. And absolutely normally, you try already to build a path in your brain to say, to go there, we will do like that. And consciously or not, as a manager, you try to bring people on this path. But the others, they are also their own path. They did exactly the same in their mind. But when you are the manager, you are entitled to say, we will follow my path. And I will help them to follow my path. And then I discovered that if you practice differently through the different exercise we did, you can say, wow, but in the path of the others, there are a lot of good things to collect. Just play the game. And then you open this door for me. It was, okay, I knew that a bit already, but then we had the consequence, we had the results, we had the proof that it works. You know? And then what is, I say, remarkable, the people you had around the table or around the room there, we didn't know each other before this first day. When you work in the team, generally you know the people, but there we were strangers. I was not knowing my neighbor, and she was not knowing me too. So, and then we succeeded. So there is really something to dig there and to practice. You know, so I'm used to be a kind of not bossy, but to have a bossy behavior because this is the work people are expecting from me. I'm used to, because I like this in the usual life, to check the body language of people and to try to interpret it. But what I was not able to do very well is to listen to people. It's the consequence of the bossy attitude or bossy behavior or bossy culture, I will say. And then I discovered that if you look, what I was already experienced to do, but if you listen also, and if you give time to people, a room to people to express themselves, even for yourself, you will produce differently and you will succeed also differently. Producing, I will say, I don't care because anyhow you will produce. But the way you will produce, you know, the environment in which you will produce will be totally different. You make, instead of making a product, you make a product that has an history. And this history is the history of people making the product, which is totally different. You need also to be able to create an environment in which the nature of people, they have a room to express themselves. It's difficult for an introvert to take room in a group if you have a boss or a guy that is driving the group, which is an extrovert. The guy will say, I will never have chance to say something, and by the way, I will say nothing. So if you give room, if you create the atmosphere to be able to do that, probably this guy will bring on the table the most brilliant idea that you will never be able to reach, just because you give room, you give space. I think what I learned there, I was already aware, but there we had the demonstration, is if you really give a place, a room, a moment, an opportunity to anybody to get out of the inside and to say what they think with their own language, and if you accept that this language is different than yours, you're damn good. But in the business every day, sometimes we have just no time, or you just don't want to do it, because that obliges yourself to take time to think about it, to take probably more time to realize the stupid product or the stupid requirements that you have to deliver or to write. But I'm dead convinced now that in the society, in the world in which we are, if we want to avoid burnouts, nervous breakdowns, people that are feeling useless, or arrogant way of driving people to work, this is the kind of thing we have to experience. I'm dead convinced. I was already convinced, but after the 3 days, I'm dead convinced. It's not anymore a conviction. This is something I will experience, I will try to put in place, and I already did it in my teamwork. You create a kind of wire of trust between people. And maybe you can go further this wire of trust. You build some kind of confidence with people, a kind of help with people, and humanly speaking, it's wonderful. Because in the work we do today, most of the time we forget completely the human, because we target the product. You discover that if you practice this kind of let's get it out, you can consider the things differently, you can be largely more happy, you can be largely more efficient in the way you think, and you can consider also the things in the whole largely better than with your own mindset, the way you consider things normally. So I discovered a lot. I discovered.